13, 14, 15, we're solving a right triangle, and they're actually going to have you solve for the missing angle and then the two missing sides. On the missing angle, B, what we need to know is that the entire measure, if I add all three angles in my triangle, it adds up to 180 degrees. All three of them add to 180. But since we're working with a right triangle, the right angle is always going to be 90, so the other two angles are going to add up to 90. So if I'm trying to find the missing one, I'm just going to take 90 minus the one I know. And so if we take 90 minus 48, 42 degrees is going to be the measure of that angle. So finding our angle is not going to be too bad. All we're going to do is take 90 minus the angle we know, and that's going to give us our missing one. Then what we're going to do is use the given angle to find our other two sides. So here, if I'm going to find B, I'm going to have the opposite and the adjacent. And so I'm going to use the tangent. I'm going to say that the tangent of 48 degrees is equal to the opposite over the adjacent, so 19 over B. So these are like those first few problems we did where we were finding the missing side. We need to solve that. So we're going to times by our B, and then we have B tangent of 48 equals 19. So we divided by the tangent of 48 and got the B by itself, right? And so if I use my calculator, 19 divided by the tangent of 48 gives me 17.107. I'm rounding to the nearest tenth, so 17.1. So 42 is our angle, our degrees for B. Angle B, 17.1 is the length of side B. We still need to find side C. So on side C, we have the opposite side labeled and the hypotenuse. So opposite over hypotenuse would be the sine. So the sine of 48 degrees is going to equal the opposite 19 over the hypotenuse C. So again, on this one, I end up having to multiply by the C and then divide by the 48, or sine of 48. So C is going to equal to 19 divided by the sine of 48. If you don't mind if I skip a few steps to save myself some room. Multiply by the C, then divide by the sine of 48. So 19 divided by the sine of 48 gives me 25.56. So rounding to the nearest tenth, 25.6 is going to be my answer for how long side C is. So I'm going to find the angle and then both of my sides, and so a little bit longer problem than we've been doing. So number 14, we're going to solve our right triangle again, round to the nearest tenth if we need to round. First thing we're going to do is find out how big A is by taking 90 minus the angle that we already know, which is the 50.9. So if we take 90 minus our 50.9, 39.1 degrees is going to be how big A is, right? So that one should be easy and quick to do. The other ones, I'm going to use the angle that is already marked. I know that this is my opposite, my adjacent, and my hypotenuse. So if I'm trying to find B, I'm going to use the opposite over the adjacent, so I'm going to use tangent. So the tangent of 50.9 is going to equal B over 28.2. So on this one, to solve for B, we just end up having to multiply by the 28.2 times the tangent of 50.9, and we can find our answer for B then. So 28.2 times the tangent of 50.9 gives me 34.700, and so 34.7 going to be my answer for side B. I also have to find side C. So for side C, we have the adjacent side labeled, and the hypotenuse is what we're trying to find. So adjacent over hypotenuse would be cosine. So I'm going to use the cosine of 50.9 degrees on this one. The adjacent side is 28.2 over the hypotenuse, which is our side C that we're trying to find. So again, on this one, since our variable's in the denominator, we would multiply by the C first, and then we'd end up dividing, and so 28.2 divided by the cosine of 50.9 is going to give us our answer. So 28.2 divided by the cosine of 50.9 gives me 44.71. So 44.7 then would be the length of side C. So 39.1 degrees was angle A, 34.7 was side B, and 44.7 is side C.
Big class.
Uh-huh. So 15, we are solving our right triangle, rounding our answers to the nearest tenth. We first are going to find angle B. So we're going to take 90 minus the 46 that we have up there. 90 minus 46 then gives us 44 degrees for B. There's our first answer. Then finding our side lengths. We have this one labeled. This would be my opposite, this would be my adjacent, this would be my hypotenuse. So I want to find A. I'm going to use the opposite and the hypotenuse. So I'm going to use sine of 46 equals the opposite A over the hypotenuse of 22. And so on this one, we just need to multiply by our 22. So 22 times the sine of 46 degrees will give us our answer for A. So 22 sine of 46 gives me 15.825. So 15.8 going to be my answer for how long side A is. Side B, we're going to use our adjacent side and our hypotenuse. So adjacent over hypotenuse would be cosine. The cosine of 46 degrees is equal to the adjacent, which is the B, over the hypotenuse of 22, which again on this one makes it easy. We just need to multiply. So 22 times the cosine of 46 is going to be my answer for B. 22 cosine of 46 gives me 15.282, so rounding to the nearest tenth, 15.3 then is going to be my answer for B.